Shalom family, giving all glory to the Most High, King of the universe, Yehovah Zavaot, thanking the Creator of life for food, clothing, and shelter, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, thanking the Creator for our lives, and we here on this day. Usually we're not on a like on a regular weekday. We usually are on the Shabbat. Usually I upload videos, but today I felt like we needed to come on live with a panel of with a group of people, panel list, or at least 7 people I see on the on the Zoom that I have going on right now. I made it available to many people. I sent the link out to many people. And I feel like we need to have a discussion on what transpired in Memphis, Tennessee, with the death of Tyre Nichols at the hand of the Memphis Police Department, in particular a crime unit or a street crime unit by the name of Scorpion, who on January 7th decided that they pulled over Tyre Nichols, and a combination of between 5 and 7 police officers, mainly 5, who beat him to death. So at this moment, I know a lot of us are outraged. There are a lot of people with a lot of feelings, a lot of things that they have to say, especially in our community. And I wanted to give everyone a platform because sometimes we wait till the Shabbat and sometimes the discussions kind of go sideways. So I wanted to do something, before the Shabbat day, so that we could get those feelings and get those thoughts and those ideas out, how we feel about what's happening. We could get to express ourselves. So we have a round table, I guess, of sorts, and a panel of brothers and sisters who we are going to talk about this, and we're going to just go around the table and get everyone's thoughts. So for those of you that didn't know, there's a video circulating on the internet that was released last Friday evening that shows the first the illegal stop, because there was, from hearing the police chief of Memphis, she said from when they looked at the surveillance videos and tried to track to see the stop that they made on Tyre Nichols, which the police officers said it was he got stopped because he was driving recklessly. She said the videos and that they have in the streets showed no records of him driving recklessly, and that transpired. He got pulled over. He got talked to harshly. He was asking why he was pulled over and got slammed on the floor. Tasered. First, a gun was pulled out on him. That's one of the factors that caused him to run. And next, it was the taser, and he ran. Tried to run over to his mother's house, and in the process of doing that, they caught him about 80 yards before he got to his mother's house, 5 other officers, and they began to give him I don't even know how to explain this. You would have to see the video. It was horrible. While he was, while they had him, man, while they had his hands behind his back, they just started wailing on him, kicking him, hitting him with the metal rod. So, if you go on the internet and you look up the Tyre Nichols video, you will see it. So just trying to give you a description of what happens. After this, he was handcuffed. He started slumping over. EMS workers came, didn't attend to him right away. They had to wait from between 15 to 20 minutes or 25 minutes before an ambulance actually came, and they put him in the ambulance. And 3 days after the incident, he lost his life because of kidney failure, and he went into cardiac arrest. So that, in a nutshell, that's what happened. So we're going to have a discussion on this. We're going to go around the round table. And first, I want to introduce the panelists. First, I have my brother, Chief Naftali Ben Don. I have my brother Zee Ben Yamin in the building. My brother Moray Itamar Ben Yehuda. I got a young perspective. My son Amos Lewy. I have my sister Dorothy. She's in the building. I see that she logged in. I got brother Mordecai in the building. So we're gonna start this off. We're gonna have discussion on it, and hopefully those of you that are not tuned in right now, you'll catch it on a later date. I'll start out with my brother Chief Naftali Ben Don. How are you, my brother?
God is good, considering the circumstances. Um, yeah. Um,
So in your observation and what did you watch the video first of all?
yeah, so I didn't, I watched it Akre, I think. Chief Mekobadi sent it to me.
Right.
I was able to watch it afterwards. But before I just heard like everybody that saw it and like the press or the some of the officials in Memphis, like the DA and other people that said that they saw it as one of the most horrendous things that they've seen. Then afterwards, and I saw it, and it was, it was disgraceful. Um, the Black community has a black eye because we live in a society where we are targeted by the police, usually white officers, but at the same time, you're actually seeing the harshness of what we can do to one another um, if we are practicing law enforcement with the wrong type of mentality. Um, I'm still shocked. It's nothing that anytime you see these things, you're not going to get over it because um, there is no way, there was no excuse that they've had for doing our brother like that. Um, and it doesn't rage you, but it's common um, for in our history for the black man to be a taskmaster to his own kind. And, we have participated in the lynching of our own people. We have done things of that nature, So I don't want to give you the idea that this is so far fetched. We're living in a modern world where you are supposed to have a better understanding. Like when you become a cop, we need more black cops to be in our community so that they can have an understanding of us and our struggle and certain things of that nature, and they can do better community policing because you're policing your own kind. That makes more sense. But this doesn't make this negates that part, and this puts a black eye on our community to 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 make us seem like when we get responsibility, when we get authority, this is what we do. And I'm I'm making sure, and I want to make sure that people clearly understand that when you get power, power is addictive. Authority can be easily abused, and you can easily victimize other people when you get in a certain positions where you can, dictate, their freedom or their life, or you can, kill somebody and write a report to make it seem like it's good. We all have to be careful. We all have to be careful. One thing that a lot of people are saying was, if those brothers weren't in uniform, they could have been the same type of in the same situation at any given time. So this is why it's so disgraceful because the only reason why you may not have been in that situation is because you're wearing a uniform and you got a gun and a shield. Um, I think the most I got for brothers who do good policing, who do the right thing. Um, somebody need to mute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um,
My bad.
okay. But for the most part, um, I don't think that this is going to be the last incident that we see. I'm just in my mind, I'm mentally preparing for whatever the next situation is going to be, whether we know about it or whether we don't know about it. But I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be the only situation that we see. So that cleanup process is about
You mean
the
situation that we
institution.
see with black police officers on
Yeah,
um on their own?
yeah. This is not, as I said, this is not uncommon. I mean, most of my interactions that I've had was with but with black officers undermining you, trying to show out for for the white cop. Ice
Right.
Cube talked about that.
Right.
KRS-One talked about that.
Right.
So it's there. It's not like there's something that's not there. You know what I mean? But it's extreme because it's so overboard. It's like, it's like training day, man. It's like it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's crazy. And these guys wouldn't do it to the real thugs out in the street. I don't think
Right.
so. You know what I mean? Because Memphis got some killers. Memphis got some real dudes out there. I don't think they would mess with them dudes like that. So it's like, you picked on somebody that's, for the most part, I don't like using this word, but he was a square. He wasn't, you know what I mean? He wasn't in the streets. He wasn't whatever. He was coming from taking pictures of the sunset. That was his thing. Skateboarding was his thing. He's not even from Memphis like that. He's from Sacramento. You know what I mean? So, you went and got at this dude, took advantage of a person that 150 pounds soaking wet, got Crohn's disease, you know what I mean? And you beat him to death, whipping him with batons and rocking his head and all types of stuff like that. And, so, I think that we have to get out of that mentality of violence first. And on top of that, um, I just hope the Most High God does his justice in this situation. That's it for me.
Hallelujah. Yeah, moving right ahead, I'm gonna go over to my brother Mordecai because I know he has some pressing things that he has to do. So, my brother Mordecai, did you get to watch the video?
Shalom, everybody. Shalom, brothers and sisters. I did not have the opportunity to look at the video. We've had a fair share, I think, throughout the years, even through the pandemic and a few things of us just looking like, being shot down like wild animals. And it has become a weird norm. And social media has created this thing where it's like, at one point we were growing up, you picked and choose what kind of horror films you looked at. Now this horror has become a norm for us, where it's kind of like, instead of us getting involved, we're now just using our phones to record horrific things that happens to us. I don't want to be too long-winded. Like I was saying, there was another point that I want to bring. It kind of segued while we were talking in the background, and I guess I don't know how it segues itself into it now, but when you were talking about the slave movies and should we keep going with it, and it's kind of weird, but it kind of made sense. Yeah, you're right. Why focus on all those things of the past where the Most High is still making sure, and I'm the one who I believe in hope. You feel me? And I believe we can be a people who can move toward a light, but at the end of the day, I can't be blind either. That curse is prevalent. And it's kind of like, okay, you want to do away with the slave movies and you believe we've moved forward and we've come up? Yes, we have. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. This place is not meant for us to be here comfortably. It's not meant for us to see whatever the glitz and the glamour of whatever it is, what I'm saying, that we expect the Black people here. And it just sucks. It doesn't suck. It's just the reality of all that you don't need a slave movie. It's even worse now. You can just be shot down right on TV. You feel what I'm saying? You can be brutally beaten. And now, due to the fact that it's at the hand of 5 Black men, it doesn't. It just gives the opposition the other side to say, well, there you go again. Look what they're doing again. Now it's their own cops. And the part that I hope these 5 brothers understand: where's your union? Where's the so-called wall that you think is going to protect you? It's not. And like my chief, big brother Naftali said, may the Most High, may the justice and may judgment come upon them, because that was wrong. They knew what they were doing were wrong. Innately, you got to know that. You feel what I'm saying? You knew that it was your brother, and you let the wickedness of whatever your personal, whether he had affairs with a woman that he was once with or whatever it may be, that was just wicked, and it was just mean, and it was disgusting. And I'll land for now.
Yeah. What's funny about it is that one of the I was reading today, or I was watching today, where it said that one of the officers initial officers that stopped him was a Caucasian officer. And he just got suspended today, right? He made the initial stop. Now, they're saying he wasn't the one that, he wasn't one of the ones that put his hands on him. Remember, he was chasing and he called it in. He called it ahead, and these 5 brothers caught up to him 80 yards or 100 yards from his home. So he was heard saying,
Stomp him. Oh, hope
stomp
they
him.
stomp him.
Yeah, I hope they stomp him.
Yeah.
But he didn't get suspended till today. He's not even fired yet. He's just suspended. The 3 EMT workers that initially got there, they got fired. The fire department, they got fired. The 2 guys who came out and the driver got fired or something like that, something to that extent. And it amazes me how the guy who made the initial stop, who started the whole thing, who pulled out his gun, what they're not saying is he pulled out his gun and then he pulled out the taser, right? He put the gun away. He realized, all right, why am I pulling my gun out? But that's their instinct. You know what I'm saying? Shoot him first. And you could see it in Tyre Nichols' face, the fear that he had of getting killed. That's why he ran. Because automatically the body goes into fight or flight, right? Some brothers will fight. And you said, well, why would you fight the police? Because that's your natural instinct. If somebody's trying to harm you, you're going to defend yourself, right? And some people run. Well, why would you run from the police? Because I'm in fear of my life. And this proves that everyone that runs from the police is not a criminal. Because he had a squeaky clean record. I don't think this guy even ever got arrested. So when they use the excuses of, well, why was he running from the police? Because he was afraid of dying. That's why he ran from the police. Every time we run from the police is not because we are criminals or we've done something wrong. It's because we fear for our lives, and it's called self-preservation. So we're gonna move straight ahead. We're gonna hear from our brother Zee Ben Yamin. You still there?
Shalom, Mark. I'm here.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Before I get started, I'd like to say shalom to the panel. Most High blessings to all who can hear the sound of my voice. May the Most High guide us and be with us. Initially, I haven't watched the video because before I wanted to watch it, I wanted to get as much information, break it down, and understand it in its truest forms before I put a visual to it. And with all the information and everything I heard, I didn't have to see a visual to come up with an analysis of what took place. I'm gonna break what I have to say down in some key points. The first one I'm gonna look at is this sets us back, because throughout the pandemic and for so many years, we always talk about police brutality, what goes on in our community, and what happens to us. And then ripe in the Gregorian calendar year of 2023, here we go. And guess what? It's us. And now that gives others and the powers to be like, well, y'all did all this, but look at what y'all doing now. Just as the key point of my brother Mordecai was saying. Also, another thing to hit on a point that Naftali also mentioned is this is what happens when you get put in a position of power and authority, and we can see how it gets abused. And we can correlate that to a lot of the issues and instances we have within our own Hebrew community. And it just speaks volumes on just because you're in a position of power and authority doesn't mean you're qualified for the job. We have to do better, especially as brothers. It hurts, honestly, because it's sad. As much as we all try to go out and just be positive and just to see that this happens, I'm kind of really lost for words, because it's just awestrucking, because it's like, why? as I sat back and we have this discussion, I'm just becoming more lost for words because, like I keep saying, it's just setting us back. And we just have to grow and do better. And we also have to learn to hold people accountable, you know, whether it's leaders in our community, whether it's ourselves, and just look at ourselves, whether we're just leaders in our side of our houses. We need to take this as an opportunity to look at ourselves and look how we handle and manage one another, brothers, sisters, all around the board. There was no reason for why this had to transpire and take place. It's not about opinions, it's about facts, but I feel like it was targeted, but that it was unjustly called for. We have to do better. And in order for things to get better around us, we have to take a deep look inside ourselves and just do better. Like the U said, I mean, pretty much a clean record. So it goes to show, you know, you don't have to do too much of anything nowadays to get put and pit inside of these positions. But also, this goes to a point I was trying to make. We can't be amazed and surprised by the things that we see around us. We are in captivity. We're going to see far more worse things take place and transpire. We need to use this as an opportunity to take a look at ourselves and realize how we deal with one another as sisters and brothers. There's so many times we probably address issues and dealt wickedly and nasty with one another's, and it didn't cost nobody their lives. But in this instance, it did. We need to do better and hold ourselves more accountable about how we go about things. Also, another interesting point, like you said, the initial officer, he didn't get charged, but all the brothers did. I feel like this created an atmosphere of these brothers got power and authority, and they've been conditioned to the circumstances. Well, he's a black guy, and we're officers, so you know they might just look at it as just another brother, and we might get a slap on the wrist. That's that slave master's mentality. That's that house nigga mentality. You know, it reminds me of the movie Life. Like you had the hardcore dude who was keeping them in check, but last time I recall, you was in imprisonment with them. So you was putting them through all these conditions and was sucking up to the warden, but you was still in prison too. You just got put in a position of authority to keep them in check. And that's just how the system goes.
Overseer syndrome.
Yeah. So they got put in that overseer seat, and you know, hey, we'll get a slap on the wrist. It's a brother. We'll get away with, you know, I ain't gonna say that. I don't know if that was the initial thought process, but by their actions, it's not too far-fetched to think that. Well, we're five officers, and it's just another brother. They're gonna just chuck it up to the game and we're good. Because how many of our white counterparts got slaps on the wrist for blatant murder? How many school shooters we had got slapped on the wrist for open murder? So at his worst capacity, it's five officers doing their job against one brother. And they took it to the most malicious and nastiest extent. And it's just an abusement of power. And the only thing I can look at in this instance, the tie to where we're at as a community and people, is we need this, like how people in power, we need to not just question, but hold those in a position of power accountable as leaders and men of households, as women and leaders of households, as just people in the community, not just the Hebrew Israelite community, but colored people in general. We have to hold ourselves more accountable and have that humility and compassion for those around us. And I'll have more key points, but the more we got into this discussion, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of lost my words because it's sad. It's sad, but I think it was just a matter of conditioning, what those officers were used to seeing and what they thought they were able to get away with. And the funny part about it is the one counterpart who was not the shade of the other brothers has still yet to be fired. Just because he didn't lay a hand doesn't mean he's not equally responsible. And that's all I got to say.
Hallelujah. Yeah, it's very it's like our sister Kaya Baker said. She said he was running towards his mother's house. We know that he was like 3 houses from his mother's house. And when we see another grown man dying before us, calling for his mother. And the interesting thing is that the body cam didn't really show the extent of what they were doing. because it seems like police officers have a trick with the body cam. What they do is they press up on you. The body cam can't see what they're doing. And all they do is yell and scream, put your hands behind your back. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. So it gives the impression that you're resisting arrest, right? And because they're so close to you on the body with the body cam pressed up and they hitting you, the body cam is not picking up what's happening. It just looks like a bunch of black, ruffling going around, But there was a street, there was a crime, one of those light pole cameras.
Crime cam.
Yeah, crime cam. It was one of those. And they didn't take that into factor that was there. And that showed everything that they did, how they went about doing what they did. So, they got a price to pay. But we're going to move straight ahead, and we're going to hear from my brother Itamar, Moray Itamar Ben Yehuda. How are you, my brother? Unmute your I'm not. Yes.
Okay, there we go. First and foremost, all glory to the Most High.
Hallelujah.
Thank you, brothers, for putting this together, because it's important that we talk about these type of things, and a lot of times we talk about it in our circles, but it has to be a unified voice, even coming from the house of Israel, and how we talk about it and what we say about these type of things. I saw the video. Matter of fact, Chief made sure that, I saw the video, and, I've seen some stuff like I can handle it. There ain't no thing but I was horrified.
Right.
I was disgusted, was to see brothers, to beat another brother like that. Like, you didn't just, shoot him and run down the block and deal with the consequences later. Right. You beat him. Mm-hmm. And you beat him. And you beat him. And this, like Chief, you said, this was a square guy. This wasn't, this wasn't one of them gangsters from Memphis, because there's some gangsters in Memphis.
Right.
This wasn't one of them. They got a square guy. So I feel like, first off, we don't know the whole story. But before, I don't even want to start guessing and getting into the internet chatter about what happened or anything like that. We have to understand, first off, it's systematically broken.
Right.
The policing of it started as slave catchers. So this was their system that they created for us to police our neighborhoods. Whether it's one of them or whether it's one of us, it's always broken. And that doesn't mean there's not any good police officers. I know quite a few good police officers. I know some police officers that would not have stood around and allowed their comrades to do that. But with that being said, the system is broken.
That's right.
So even when you have good people in a broken system, it's still a broken system. So, my thing is about empowerment, and I look at other nations, and I don't look at them because our journey is different, and the Most High has a reason why we're here. But we also have to start, how they say you have the American dream. I feel like we're still trying to live the American dream. And this dream was not our dream. It was built on our back. So the fact that it was built on our back, we're never going to get a fair shake from the people that police us. And the people that what they do is they indoctrinate them. So like those brothers thought the blue line was going to save them in this matter. They thought and you see how quickly they had their faces on the news, right? Mm-hmm. Usually, they have to go and we're gonna release the footage. They got everything on them immediately because they throw them back, because the only case it is a black man killing another black man. It's systematically broken, and I don't think that in this society we're gonna win that battle. But I think that what we can do and how we can empower ourselves is that we stand together and we have an Israelite dream. We have a dream that we stand on, and I don't want to go too far left on that, but I'm just saying that if we're still trying to live the American dream and they're governing any one of us could be in that situation tomorrow. You got a kufi on, and what's your name? What does this say? Step out the car. You know, that brother ran. I ain't doing too much running these days, so I don't even, they just probably would have finished me right there.
Right.
My point is, they're not going to give us a fair shake, no matter how much noise we make. What they will understand is that, okay, we stand together. You can't go in that neighborhood and get away with doing this. I love the event that everybody has a camera in their hand. Keeps you honest. Keeps you honest. Because imagine, this ain't the first time. Imagine all the brothers that's gone and that have been murdered and there was no camera there.
Right.
And they was just like, he was acting up and he was resisting. You know, they love that. He was resisting. Well, all you got to do is talk a little louder and they be like, you resisting.
Right.
So the sad part is, it's us doing it to us. And we don't, you know, we want to stand for police brutality, but it's our own people. It's our own people that's done this to us. So until we can actually stand together, you know, and I mean, that's the only, to me, that's the only option that we have now, is to stand together. Not talk about what we don't have, not talk about what we didn't do. We have to stand together. Them young brothers, those are our young soldiers. We can't let them go, yeah, they're different than us. We have to pull them in. We have to stand in the midst of the lions. Because the alternative is that can be any black male that gets in a car on any day of the week in any major city in America.
That's right.
And that's all I really wanted to say. I mean, I ain't going nowhere, but that's, you know, listen, our unity is our empowerment, bro.
Right.
That's it.
I seen, and you know, what's funny what you said about that. I seen it in New York City in the 90s and in my neighborhood. I seen police come down on brothers, and I seen the whole neighborhood come out and surround the police. And guess what the police did?
They left. They got away.
Left. They left. They said, no, y'all not searching nobody. You ain't putting your hands up, and you're not arresting anybody. Today is not the day. And the whole neighborhood, grandmothers looking out the window, throwing stuff at them, doing all types of stuff. Get police gathered up, and they left. You know, so those are, in unity, there's strength. Some people say, oh, that won't work today. Yes, it does. Because once everyone gets together and everyone puts their mind to it, it could happen. We could police our own neighborhoods, but you know, you have to eliminate the bad seed. These guys actually were how do you say it? They were institutionalized behind the blue lines, if that makes any sense. So therefore, it's not really black and white. We're looking at the blue and the uniform. And like all police officers, I don't think are inherently bad, but if you don't guard your mind and you don't guard your thoughts, you easily could be influenced into that way of thinking, to think that all your brothers and sisters are animals, to think that we are no good, because now you're hanging around or you're around people that have certain ideals and certain values and think about us a certain way. And slowly but surely you begin to get indoctrinated into thinking, you know, they show you articles, you see what's happening, you see what's going on there, you see what they're doing, you see what these guys are doing. These guys are animals. You begin to call your own people animal. And you begin to do things and you begin to think like that. And you don't know that you're being programmed and that you're being led down to a certain way of thinking. And now you're looking at your brothers and sisters as if they're less than you when you come out of the same situations. So these are things that we have to be careful about. I believe we could police our own neighborhoods. I believe we could police our own places. And that's what we did back in the days. You know, the OGs, the older guys on the block, they make sure everything was going straight. They make sure you wasn't bringing drama around the block and make sure that the grandmother was safe and that your mother was safe and all these people were safe. So, let me see who we got here. Let's hear, I don't know, Sister Dorothy. I don't know if Sister Dorothy, if you wanted to say anything, but you there, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to open it up for you to say anything if you have anything to say.
Shalom and hallelujah.
Shalom,
All praises to the
shalom.
Most High.
Hallelujah.
First of all, I'd like to say this video made me very angry. And then it was heartbreaking. Because all I could think was, this guy could have been your brother, your uncle, your father, your son, your best friend. Like 5 of you, plus more. There were more than that there. Like none of you had some empathy, some thought of, guys, that's enough. Let's stop.
Right.
They positioned themselves, you know, to hit the guy and kick him in his head. Like no one said, I think he had enough. That, and I'm like, that's your brother.
Right.
You know, that weren't white men doing this. That were our people doing this to this young man. So it broke my heart. Like I have 2 sons. Right. The one that drives, I'm like, please be careful on the road, you know, because you never know when you could be pulled over. We kind of fear the white man, but when our own people do that, it's like, what do we do? Right. And Brother Itamar was saying they thought they were going to be protected by the blue. No, they were not. Yep. Because even if they're cops, they're still black. Yeah. Look how quickly they had them arrested, fired, and stuff. If that were white men, it would not have been like that. You know, so it's sad. It's very sad, and it's very heartbreaking to see our own people do that to our people. Right. You know, it's very heartbreaking. It is very heartbreaking. Yeah. Let's see. I believe we got I think we got Amos in the building. We'll get it from a young perspective, from someone that's very young. I don't know if he's on. Amos, are you there?
Yeah, yes, I'm here.
Did you see the video?
I want to get in that light area. Yeah, I saw the video. Usually, I try to stay away from watching those videos. I've become very desensitized with content like that. I think I made a vow to myself, like 2020, I wasn't gonna watch too many more of those videos. I wasn't gonna watch too many videos of black men being killed on camera. I made a vow to myself because I realized I can watch some of those videos without having a reaction or having any emotion, and you become desensitized. And it's important to be aware of what's going on, but I don't want to have that feeling every time I watch that video, or feel numb, or feel like, emotionless, like a void. So watching that video just kind of brought back some of those emotions. Not so much because it wasn't clear. It wasn't a really clear video. It was dark. Like you said, the body cam was more so like muffled. It was shadows, figures. But the one thing that stands evident is you see brothers of our complexion beating on their own brother, holding them up as if, and I said, when I saw the video, all I thought of was, I said, is this a gang initiation? Was this a childhood bully? Was this somebody who did something to them? And I couldn't come up with any possible answer. When all the evidence is dropped on the table and you hear that this was just a 29-year-old man who was a photographer, a skateboarder, those two groups of men, the men that jumped him and the man that was killed, they don't have much in common. So I'm still confused. It just leaves you confused and then leaves you just kind of just sad because I really want to understand what the reason was.
I hear you. And I think we all have a sense of that, just not understanding exactly what's happening. And like a brother servant of Yehovah put up, then when the worst part was standing around at the end after beating him and he's slumping over and they trying to prop him back up with his hands behind his hands behind his back and him slumping over. Then they start conjuring up the story. When they figure out that, okay, this might not turn out too good. Oh yeah, he was reaching for so-and-so gun. Yeah, man, he made me do this and yeah, he was trying to fight and everybody saw the video showed that you guys had him propped up and he had no chance to fight. He had no chance to do anything. You guys just beat him to death. And the official course of death was kidney failure, and he went into cardiac arrest. Basically, his heart just stopped.
Can I chime in something?
Yeah.
With that also being a factor, saying to conjure up the story, it goes to show you the system that they're in.
Right.
So many times that counterparts who are opposite counterparts, they're probably used to doing this. So they got a level of understanding. Well, we're going to discuss this later. Seems like these brothers, like Moray Itamar was saying, they felt like they were protected by that badge and being a part of the blue, where they were so oblivious to the situation that they didn't know how to properly, it was nothing proper about it. They didn't know how to address or assess the situation when they realized the wicked and evilness that they done, that they pretty much prosecuted themselves.
Right.
So it goes to show they abuse their power of authority, but also the ignorance behind it, because you have that camera on you. It's recording. So for them to try to create a story while being recorded, it goes to show like the level of ignorance behind the brothers, because again, how my belief, not my belief, but how I look at it, we're officers. In that instance, they looked at themselves, we're protected by the badge. So, we're officers or we're protected by the badge. This is just another brother. We'll get a slap on the wrist. But the ignorance behind it, you're trying to put your story together. It's just like when you get arrested, you got two brothers in holding, or you get in a fight at school and both of the two brothers sitting outside the principal office. Okay, this is what we gonna say. This how it went. Whoop-de-doo, blah blah blah. But you're on camera and you're actually stating all these different things. You're convicting yourselves. It's the level of ignorance. The other counterparts, they probably do these things, but they don't go into these extents. You abused your power of authority and made yourself look ignorant in the process of doing it as well. And just all across the board, we have to do better. And I feel like in today's age, we are very desensitized. We see now not only are not just officers, but people committing murders. You have people going on mass killing sprees, putting on GoPro cameras and recording it. We're in a day and age where wickedness is being glorified, not just in a sense of murder, but people showing off their we're in an age and day in society where wickedness is being glorified, or in a sense, we're in a time where you do wicked, you really not necessarily don't care. You pretty much don't care. It's like you said, there's people with cameras in their hands. There's a camera above you, like that recorded all this. We're in a day and age in society where people are doing wicked and not even thinking, second guessing it at all, because we're becoming more and more desensitized. But again, it's the fact that they think that, we're an officer, we get away, it's just another brother, and that's just sad. It's sad. It's one thing for us to kill one another on the streets. It's one thing to do wicked and go about just dealing deceitfully and wicked with one another. It's a whole nother thing when you just be like, you know what? We're gonna gang up. We're gonna do this to this brother. Pretty much kill him and like, okay, this is how we gonna discuss it like this. But you're recording the whole entire process of it. If these brothers are doing it, just imagine what other people are doing. We're just in a day and age of when wicked is finna go rampant. And I look at this instance for us to look at, we really need to get ourselves together, get our ducks in a row. Because if we have brothers who have to go through the process to get these positions of authority and they just throw it out the window like that, brothers who don't have this power and authority and nothing to lose, how much more craziness and wicked are we going to see in the days to come?
Absolutely.
I wanted to chime in for a second.
King, go ahead, Chief.
Stephen A. did two things. He did his own podcast. He talked about it, and he had Benjamin Crump on there, the lawyer. And then there was something that happened on I think SportsCenter or First Take on one of those things. He said something real valid. He just talked about just as a human being having natural love for another human being, like people he worked with. That's cool, and I think part of the problem is what you saw with that was a lack of humaneness. You saw animals, and you saw animals regardless of what their status is, and they went out and basically hunted their own kind. I just finished watching that Will Smith movie. I think it was called Emancipation, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, Emancipation.
Very interesting because one of the hunters that was hunting after Will Smith was a black man. And if this mentality that it's okay, and I think now people are getting it. I think white people are getting it because it even horrified them that you've trained black people so well with self-hate and to hate their own kind that was easy for them. And that is part of what appalls me, is that it was easy. There was nobody to say, chill, stop, whatever the case may be. And we have to look at it because we always talking about gangs and all types of stuff like that. And how you pull a trigger on your brother. And these people are people of authority. They are supposed to be the Scorpion Unit. It's an acronym for safe thing, whatever the case may be, our neighborhoods, whatever the case may be. And it was too easy for them to put their hands on their own kind. And my warning to everybody is, there's a lot of us that think that way right now. They think that it's okay to be bullies. We think it is okay to demean our own kind. We think it's okay to disrespect our own kind. And at the end of the day, God is going to punish us for these type of behaviors, because these are the type of behaviors that brought us in these lands that we're in now. And we should never get to a point where you punching your brother first and asking questions later. You threatening his life and doing all of that stuff like that. And it's crazy. And it's crazy that it's an embarrassment that the world is looking at us right after George Floyd and the Marbury Taylor and everybody else. And then these are men that have badges, and it doesn't register to them that they need to do better. And they have records. Some of these dudes, they have patterns of behavior doing stuff like this already.
Right. Complaints against them.
Complaints, and one guy's, it's just crazy. So now you're trying to fight, but what excuse do you have for beating a man senseless? If the gun went off and accidentally shot, that's the excuse that they usually get, that the white cops have. Oh, my gun went off, whatever the case may be, whatever. But that would have been a more sensible excuse than to be seen on 5 different types of cameras beating a man senseless. So my thing is, we have to be careful. We have to be careful that we don't allow these behaviors. And when you're in a community, at one time, hey, if you did the wrong thing in the community, and then the community made you pay. So the community should make sure that these guys pay. And I'm not wishing hurt on anybody, but I'm saying that the community needs to make sure that we rid ourselves of these type of people. And I say it on the Mizbeach often. You know, I worry about sellouts and people around us that are compromised, man. It's rough. It's rough. It's rough because they're your own skin color. They should know. You think they should know better. You think they should have an understanding of what it is to be Black and struggle and have to deal with things in this country. You think you should know that at any given time, you can be the same victim, the same type of victim, and you victimize them. So that's why we got to be clear. We got to be careful because there's a lot of bullies around us. There's a lot of people who think that they don't have the right to listen to other people, to respect other people's life, to respect their dignity. Because that's part of it. Part of it is you stripping this man of his dignity by punching him all in his face and doing all this. And you think that you a man after doing that. Hey, I'm somebody after you broke this man down like that and he lost his life. But he was a father, he was a son, and you stripped him. And it is ill. It is bad that we got to a point where we're continuing to carry on the legacy of our slave master in doing all of these things. It's filthy. That's it for me. I hope this is.
So I got a caller here. Who am I speaking to? Say your name. You're on live.
Shalom, Chief Uziel. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Mute that TV in the background.
All right, got you.
All right.
This is Chief Up Shalom. What's going on?
Shalom. What's going on, my brother?
I'm marvelous. Can't complain, no matter what's going on in life.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Basically, what I want to say is, what we must realize is that we're still in captivity. And all these things that are happening is part of our curse. From the white man or the black man. The Most High said that he will turn your brother eye against you. We're still in these times, and we think we got away from it because, and I can't say all of us, but a lot of us think we got away from it because of black president, because this, because that, because this. But the Most High words are still real, and we have to realize that. Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that was wrong. What they did was, oh my God. When my Isha showed me that, I was like, wow, what the hell? But what I realized is that we're still in captivity. And things are going to happen to us. Now, what we should be doing, like brothers was talking earlier, we need to police our own neighborhoods. And we need to step up and not be afraid of the police. All of us. I have a notion in my head, like you see 3, 4 cops jumping a brother, 20 men, 40 men come from the neighborhood and surround them. Like, now you're not doing that to our brother. We don't do that no more. We take our phones out, we film, we don't do nothing. We allow this stuff to happen, and we expect things to change. Nothing's going to change if we do not stand up. I don't care, Israelites, Muslims, whoever. Right. If we look the same, we should be standing up against all brutality. Now, those guys, they're going to make an example out of them guys. They won't make examples out of them other guys that's killed, because black people have been dying by police this year, since this year's Gregorian calendar started, last year, since the cops, and he was like, no more, none of this stuff with the cops no more, none of this stuff, none of that. So these things are going to happen. People have been dying left and right. But are we going to stand up, or are we just continue to talk? Because that's what we do a lot. We talk a lot, we talk a lot, we talk a lot. But are we going to stand up and do what we need to do? and realize that, yo, we are in the curse. Can we get out of this curse? Yes, we can, but we got to stick together. And, you know, we don't stick together. We go to parties, we stick together. We go to barbecues, we stick together. We stick together for the wrong thing, but are we going to stick together for stuff like this? Are we going to see our brother getting jumped and stop right there? Like one time, on a train station, going outside, and it was like 3 cops surrounded a little boy. He was 17 years old, taking their nightsticks out, about to beat him up. I had to call brothers and men, yo, look at this, y'all. And we all ran up on him like, they're not doing that. We start grabbing the cops off of the young man. Like, what did he do? Oh, he trying to hop the train. I'm saying, y'all got to beat him for that? And we stopped the cop from doing that to him. We need brothers that do that stuff. All of us, men. I'm 47 years old. I remember when I was growing up how our big brothers used to step up. We need that.
Right.
And it can't be, oh, that's not my son, or that's not my son, or he must have did something. Nah. It can't be none of that. No, that's my brother. He looks like me. Let's find out what's going on. 50 men. Let's run up. You seen the movie Malcolm X, right?
Right.
Remember when they went to the precinct?
Absolutely.
They had and they couldn't do nothing. They had to let that man up out of there. Y'all gonna get some problems from us.
Right.
We gotta step up, man. That's what I really wanted to say. We could talk. We talk a lot. It's time to do something.
Hallelujah.
Not wasting time. Most I bless you, and I wanted to tell you, I appreciate what you do, brother, all the time.
Toda about my brother. Toda for the call. Shalom.
Shalom.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, he made a lot of good points in terms of us, you know, as like standing up. Like, what's the solution now? What is it that we have to do? Because it's like we keep seeing these things over and over, and we have to do something about it. So I'll pass it over to my brother Moray Itamar. Moray Itamar, it's on you, my brother.
All right. No, I was feeling what the brother said, and I know, you know, sometimes it's when we look at our situation, it's a tough pill to swallow.
Right.
You know, because I've been doing this my whole life and trying to, you know, be right and make things happen. But in reality, there's another level that we're gonna have to go to if we want to stop seeing it. I feel what everybody said and what Jabane said, and you know, about being traumatized and looking at this and being desensitized to it, and you know what I'm saying, that is a real, but we can't dictate that. We can't dictate what they put in the media, and what we can dictate is what we expect from them. You know, and until we have some people that's bold enough to say, I don't need your system, and we create our own system, and every other ethnicity does it. In Atlanta, 20 miles from me, you can't even read none of the signs on any of the business because they all either Chinese or they're Mexican, Spanish, excuse me.
Right.
And I say that not to knock what they're doing. I'm saying, like, the police don't even go over there like that. They don't even police their areas like that. Why? Because they don't give them that opportunity. But we can't listen. Our dream cannot be the American dream. I want to punch that in our heads, and anybody that's listening, that our dream can't be the American dream because it was built on our back. It wasn't built with us. We didn't sit in a room with George Washington's and all these and Hamilton and all these, you know, white men that created this system. We was out back building. Our women was in there serving tea and crumpets. You know what I'm saying? So the you know, and I know it feels good to have the trappings that they've given us. But I think that we have to look at what's good for us. And this American, when we went into Babylon, Jeremiah 29:5, the Most High God said, build you houses, plant your vineyards,
right,
marry your sons and daughters off,
and pray for the peace.
And pray for the peace of the land. But the more we try to assimilate and feel like we need our fair shake, they are never going to give us our fair shake. I just want this panel to know, and I'll say this as much until I go out this earth. They're never our fair shake. So it's like, how far are you willing to go for your peace? I'm not talking about being rich. I'm not talking about what you got enough. How far you go for just your peace? You know, in the South, you know, if you come into the old timers, you come on their land, they run out with the shotgun and be like, get off my land. This is mine. We don't even have to, there's no portion of the earth that we have a control of. So they feel like they can do it to us, not just anybody, at any time, at any given point. This is why they didn't look and wasn't worried about no pole cam. This wasn't the first time they did that to somebody. We have to understand that the struggle to live the American dream is part of what's destroying us as a people. Because the American dream was built on our back. It wasn't built with us in those rooms.
It wasn't built for us.
And to reiterate on what you were saying, I totally agree. There's nothing wrong with you having the drive, the dedication to wanting more out of life. And that goes on a spiritual, mental, physical, emotional standpoint. You always strive to have more, do more, and be the best you can be. So, because some people get confused, the American dream is not our dream, but our dream is to be successful, be fruitful, and to pass something down to our children. There's nothing wrong with that. The issue becomes when you get too tied up in the society of this captivity and start to assimilate and conform to it. It's fine to be successful and have drive and try to get more. The issue becomes when you try to fit in and try to be a part of this society that really doesn't have a part or portion for you. Be the best you can be, get the most out of you that you can, pass something along to your children, but keep the Most High in the forefront. That's the issue. A lot of people, they get successful, they do this, I got all it, but they don't have the Most High behind it. What does he say? Follow me and keep me in the forefront so that you may be successful in all that you do. You end up losing yourself and be put in positions like this when you keep nothing is good without the Most High in it. Once you remove the Most High and you put your power and that haughtiness within yourself and what I've done and what I'm trying to do, you will never be successful. Be successful, go get things, but keep the Most High in the forefront and center and don't assimilate to today's society.
Hallelujah. So, I don't know if Sister Rhonda has something to say. I see you jumped in. We're going to hear from you, and then we could close this panel out. If you have something to say, Sister Rhonda.
I just want to say that it hits home for all of us, but I have a 30-year-old son and who lives in Alabama. And this is my fear. Something just like this. My son is quirky. He does things. He follows the rules. He does everything that he's supposed to be that's supposed to be done right according to society. And so it kind of hit home for me, and it was sad for me to watch this video. I didn't want to do it, but I felt like I needed to watch it. And the thing that stands out the most is how we as Black people, and of course these Black police officers, how we are the standard bearers for white supremacy. White people have indoctrinated us and taught us how to hate ourselves and taught other groups of people of color to hate Black people as well, that they don't have to do anything because we're doing all those things for them. And it's just it's sad. It's sad to see this happen the way it is, because we all know that the people who support the thin blue line weren't going to jump in and try to protect these officers, nor should they have, you know. But it's just sad to see that we are the standard bearers of white supremacy. They don't have to do anything. We're doing it ourselves.
Perfectly.
They've taught us so well that they don't need to do anything. So as I sit back and as I listen and I try to process it, because I'm still processing this, you know, and I always go to my son, you know, and it hurts. And coming from I feel for that mother. I feel for her. And we do our best to try to, raise our sons, and, whether it's a single mom or a parents, a mom and a dad, both in the home, it doesn't matter. He shouldn't have been, none of that should have happened. But the thing that just sticks out to me is that white people don't need to do anything, that we're doing a good job upholding white supremacy ourselves. And that's our problem.
Hallelujah. Yeah, we are doing a better job of upholding white supremacy than the white man. The overseer has become the oppressor.
Yep.
And the slave master just got to sit back and sip his lemonade.
Yep.
Because we doing a darn good job. So I would like to thank each and every one of you. I don't want to keep you all up too late. We've been over an hour now. I thank you all for lending me some of your time in the evening, which I know sometimes could be rough because people have to prepare for the next day. So thank you once again to all the panelists, to my brother Chief Naftali Ben Don, my brother Moray Itamar Ben Yehuda, my brother Zee Ben Yamin, my sister Dorothy, my son Amos, sister Rhonda, and brother Mordecai, who was on with us earlier. I don't think I forgot anyone. I think that's everyone. So I thank you all for lending me some of your time and for being here tonight. Sometimes we need to have discussions like this impromptu so that we could get it off of our chest, so that we could discuss it, we could build on it. And I think what we got out of this is that we need to do more within our communities. Instead of pulling out the camera and watching, we need to actually take action and put our lives on the line, because that's what our ancestors did in the 50s and 60s, and they got things accomplished. You know what I'm saying? They actually did boycotts. They actually did things that worked. And today it seems like we're going backwards, and we're just, each one just retreating into their own corners. And they also did a good job of causing us to be docile and like you said, not really caring for no one but the individual instead of us as a whole. So I thank you all once again. Glory to the Most High God. Thank you all for listening to us. The people online, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Let everybody know that we had this discussion. You can look at it during the future time. May the Most High God bless everyone, and everyone have a good night's sleep. Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family.
Shalom, Mishpaka.